So in this month's crate, what we have is we have a couple of these Tinsley transfers, these effects transfers, that go on with water, very much like the old tattoos you would get in a Cracker Jack box, where you use water to apply them. So anyone can do it. The cool thing about these is that the prosthetics themselves are made out of the glue. So you don't need any glue to put them on, which is awesome. And then we also, in the crate, included a bunch of tattoos as well, that once they go on, they're shaded in such a way where they look three-dimensional as well. And we have some makeup, some red and some white, to make the face pale, to deepen the cuts, and some of this wonderful Graftobian zombie guts to make pussing green come out. You know, whatever strikes your fancy. So we always start, by being safe. We ask our subject if he's allergic to anything in particular. Are you allergic to anything?
Not at all.
All right. No latex, no anything. All right, good. Even a latex sponge on someone who's deathly allergic can bother them and cause issues. So always be careful. Always know your products before you use them. We're going to start with the prosthetics themselves. You're going to find that they come out like this on a little sheet. And there's a thin piece of plastic that you peel off. And it's sticky on the other side. You take that and you press it right on the sticky side down onto the prosthetic. Now, what you want to do is you want to get a pair of scissors. And because you now have a prosthetic that's on the plastic, you're going to take the scissors and you want to kind of trim around the edges because you don't want tons of extra on the sides. Now, keep in mind you don't want to cut into the prosthetic either, but you can tell where it's really thin because it's clear. You cut around with your scissors, and then because this is actually two lips of top and bottom lip, you need to separate the two from top and bottom. Okay, so once you cut out your prosthetic, right, you take the plastic part, right, and you're going to peel off the plastic like that. Now, the other side of the prosthetic is the gluey, the sticky side. And that you're going to take and you're going to go to your friend here. And you're going to open your mouth slightly. So we're going to take this, we're going to put this on his lip and press it in like that. Keep your mouth open. And you're going to take I like to use a powder puff and soak it in water, but you can use a cloth. And you're going to soak the paper till it gets saturated. So you'll see it, you'll feel it come off on your skin. There we go. Keep your mouth open. The great thing about these Tinsley transfers is that they can make you look like a makeup artist that's way better than you really are, because it's all made for you. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to take a brush, I'm going to take a little alcohol on the brush, and what this does is this is going to melt the edges down. What you want to use is 99% alcohol. You won't be able to get it at like the drugstore, but you can order it. You can also get it, here's my plug, you can buy it at the Magic Parlor in Salem, Massachusetts. So we're going to give them a nice gash right here in the cheek. So once you peel the plastic off, that thin layer, it's super sticky. So it's going to come on, it's going to stick right to them. So we got that one going that way. Let's do this one here. And then you take your sponge or your powder puff that's wet. Saturate that paper. So you can this is a good example why you can see how it takes hours to do someone's makeup. And there's the prosthetic on there. Alcohol on your brush. So if you get like nice and close, you can really see. The alcohol tends to melt these edges nicely. So once I got the prosthetics on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our white makeup and I'm going to kind of do an overall shade of white. I like to take a sponge, rip it in half so it has a rough edge, and get a little makeup on it and start to take our buddy here and pale his skin out. It's real, it doesn't have to be pretty. When you go around the prosthetic though, you want to be careful. That's why you want to just, because you don't want to rip open the piece. You want to keep it, but you want to take the tone in his skin down. The other thing about the Tinsley transfers is they take to makeup very well. In this crate we have these as just tattoos. These are really simple because they're flat. You just peel the plastic off. Yeah, when you do these, you always want to make sure that it came off on the skin. There we go. And give him a nice pentagram on his forehead, because he is possessed by the devil after all. How about some 666 on his neck? It's a good spot for that. See, it's fun. You can do all kinds of creepy things. You'll notice it'll start to float off, and you just peel it off and bam. What you want to do though is, so it doesn't start peeling up, use a little alcohol, get those edges down. You can also use, if you have any, this is not part of the crate, but you can use some sealer and seal up the tattoos. Let's do some scratches on them. It's like the makeup is being done for you. So sometimes you want to take some of these guys and extend them. You have some red makeup to do that. Before I go crazy on that though, this is my sealer. So here's a little tip. If you don't have like Final Seal or Blue Marble or any kind of sealer, you can always use Aquanet hairspray, because it's liquid plastic. Just don't breathe it in. You can spray it over your makeup and it will seal it. But always tell the person you're doing it on to close their eyes and hold their breath for a few minutes, for like, not a minute, but like about 10 seconds. All right, ready? And hold your breath. I'll make it last longer. There you go. All right. And breathe, but don't open your eyes. It'll sting. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you can breathe now. I think you can open your eyes too. How's that feel? All right? Good. Look, he's doing all right. These lips look really cool because they're very wrinkly, gross looking. You can take this makeup, so I'm going to do a little around the eyes, blend it in. So around the eyes should look really irritated and rough. Mess up the brows a little bit. He needs more, I feel as though he needs more scratches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red and I'm going to make little scratches everywhere. Now I know in past effects crates we have other makeup, so what I'm going to do at this point, you've kind of seen how this works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some other makeup that I have on me, and I'm going to use that to enhance this. So if you've been collecting effects crate materials, you can use other stuff. Always, when you're doing any of this stuff, you can always, stipple a little bit, bring out some highlights. So I'm going to use some of my own makeups here to enhance this effect. Always use, like, one good thing to really note is do your shading, and remember, your highlights, your T-spots. This right here should be highlighted to extend the nose, and if you do a little something dark in here, creates depth, and that's just an illusion of depth. The reds and all the browns and stuff that kind of, you can place them strategically to have the makeup pop more. If you want to, you could take a little a smaller brush, like a really thin brush, and with whatever makeup you have, you can paint little veins. You want to get into some crazy detail. Have them coming off the hairline so you can barely see them. Like, stuff like that is great. Just make them all broken up. This is the Bob Ross part of our happy capillaries. And then we have, in our crate kit, we have these Graftomian zombie guts, and we can have them seeping out of the wounds. Oh yeah, you know what? This is a possession crate, so this would be like remnants of the pea soup, right? That you vomited earlier. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this is Paracon, ladies and gentlemen at home, and there's our possession crate. Every time